G'day guys, welcome back to another week of building the HMS Victory from Caldercraft. This week we're working on the upper gun deck cannons, which we have instructions to follow here, and we also have a diagram showing what we need for each cannon. All up there's 20 pieces for each cannon, and we've got 30 cannons to make, so all up that's going to be about 600 pieces. It's going to take some time, so for this video I'm going to try and just do 5 so I can get the next video out, and then I'll do the last 25 on my own, and then we'll come back to the following video, which should be about putting the rudder on the ship. So for the cannons we need the carriages, so we've got 30 of those, and then the smaller ones are different cannons, which I'm assuming will be on the upper decks. The actual carriages will be painted yellow ochre, and the wheels will be left plain. So when I cut these out, I actually just cut the carriage part out to start with, and then paint them once they're together, and then we'll cut out the wheels and put them on. We also have these little wedges, which I can't remember off the top of my name what they're called, and they sit under the rear of the cannon. We have 30 of the cannons, which will be we'll use brass black on to change their colour. We also have hinges. There'll be 4 of those on each, and they then get nailed over the there'll be a brass rod, a very small hole there which will have a brass rod go through. So we've got 1.5mm brass rod, and we'll also be using a 1mm brass rod. We've got 0.5 by 3mm walnut we'll be using. These are all eye bolts. There'll be 6 on each cannon. And then we have nails that we'll be putting in as well, and they will also, along with all that brass, be blackened. So I'll set the camera up and we'll start getting this done. Okay, we'll just start cutting out the 4 pieces of the carriages. We'll leave the wheels here for now. It's hard to see where the actual notch is. I think like the rest of it, it's been CNC cut, so you get a lot of sawdust in the grooves. So we'll have to clean that up before we do anything. Okay, so that's one set. So I'll do 5 more and then I'll be back. Okay, I've got 5 sets made up. I'm just tidying up on each end where the tab was that we cut, and then just double check that there's no rubbish in any of the grooves on here for where the axles go. I'm trying not to mix them because the outside parts are the same, but the two inner parts or axles are not. The wider, or I think it's where is it? The shorter wheel axle goes to the front, so this one, it's got the slightly bigger center part on it that goes to the front, and the one with the lower part in the middle goes towards the back. So the Canon has a taper. So I'll go and just tidy up the rest of these and then we'll start gluing them together. Okay, I've had a practice and done 2, so we'll do the next couple on camera. As I said, the one with the bigger top part there goes to the front of the Canon. The highest section, or thicker section, is the front. So I found the easiest way, just put a little bit of glue on the axle. This is white glue, but it's a tacky white glue. It sets a little bit quicker. So I'm going to get in the way, aren't I? So it just slots into the little notch there. And the same on the other side. Right, I just did one without any problem at all. And the next one, put the glue into the notch. It's going to go in. Just make sure it's right up against that higher part of the axle. And then just to make sure I've got the right angle on it, I'm getting a Canon Going by the photo, it looks like the end of the cannon is right up. Yeah, that fits just fine. Okay, to paint the carriages, I'm just using yellow ochre from Admiralty paints. I think it's going to need a couple of coats. I've already done 3 of the carriages and they look like they'll need another coat later on. Just before we put the wheels, the ends of the axles will be painted black. But the actual wheels themselves don't get painted at all. Okay, next up we've got to get the wheels on, as well as this brass rod through. That's a 1mm brass rod. What I have done is I've just painted the ends of the axles, so once the wheels are through you can see that black on there. I thought it was going to be too hard to paint them once the wheels were on, so I've cut the wheels out, just cleaned them up a little bit so the tabs are sanded off. I found they fit reasonably well, but I just sand the axle just a tiny bit because I don't want to have to force it and possibly break the axle. When I first looked at the wheels, I thought I was going to have some trouble getting them on here, but they fit pretty nicely actually. Okay, so the larger wheels go to the front. There we go. So you can see the black on the end of the axle. That's 2. And so that's one. Okay, so that's all the wheels done on those two. So next we'll just, this hole is extremely small. The brass rod doesn't fit through, so I'm just going to open that up just a touch. Okay, as I said, the hole is extremely small. I've got a 1mm drill bit. I won't use the power on it, I'll just manually push it through. A bit worried with that being so close to the bottom of the carriage that if I use the power it may well split the wood. We'll check that that's nice and open as well. Once I get it through, I just make sure I line it up with the hole in the other side. Now, even having opened this up, it's going to still be quite a tight fit because we've just made that hole 1mm and the rod is 1mm. And I'll just stab myself. Just a minute, I've got to clean myself up. So I'm just stopping it just short of all the way through because I need to cut this off. And then to make sure it's flush, just push it through a bit. Okay, so that's that one done. I'll have to repainted. I've got some blood on there, so I'll do the next one. Okay, next up we've got to put these stalls onto the bottom of the carriage, which the chocks sit on. They go towards the back. The little rod that we put there goes level with that, and then the other end is level with the back of the carriage. So I measured that, which is 13.87 millimeters, and that's what I've cut these two. So just a little bit of glue. Just got to get this close to the middle as we can. So that's in there. Do the next one. Okay, so that's on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to let that dry, and then we'll come back and put the chocks on. Once that's done, we've got to start blackening all the brass pieces that go on after that. Okay, next up we've just got to add these chocks that go at the rear of the bed of the cannon. So just on that piece of wood we've just put there, right level with the back. So let's get some glue. Next one. Okay, so while they're drying, we'll move on to blackening the brass. Okay, now we're going to be blackening all the brass pieces. Do it a little bit different last time because I think I probably should have diluted the brass black because it tended to corrode it a little bit. So this time what I'm going to do is, well, I should mention first, this is 1.5mm brass rod that will actually be sitting across the carriage like this and through the cannon. I just measured it, the width of the carriage, and that's, so we need 5 of those. We've got the eye bolts, which I'm leaving on the sprue just to make it easier to get them out, and when we attach them to the cannon we'll be cutting these short anyway, so it doesn't matter where we cut this off if it leaves a bit of brass, because as I said we're going to be cutting it short and putting it into the cannon. So we need 20 of those, sorry, 30 of those. Got a few more there. Then we have 10 of the hinges. I've got 10 nails we're going to be putting in those hinges. Just take me a minute to pick them all up. And then lastly, 5 of the cannons. And firstly, I'm just going to be washing it in 100% acetone, just to get rid of any oils or contaminants, just so the brass black works well. Then, as I said, when we put the brass black in, I'm actually going to water it down just a little bit. Okay, I'll just give that a minute and then we'll get them out. Okay, I've just put a small amount of water in here and some brass black. As you can see, it's already starting to work. I've given this a few minutes. I'll then use water to rinse them and then see whether it needs to be done again. Sometimes it takes a couple of goes. It's getting there. I think it looks better than if you just paint them black. So, like I said, I'll give that a few minutes. I'll rinse them in water and then we'll come back and have a look. Okay, that's everything blacked up now. So I'll just leave these to dry. Shouldn't take very long, and then we'll start assembling the final pieces of the cannons. Okay, we're just going to make the holes for the eye bolts. So we've got one at the rear, below that chock. And then one on top above the axle. And the other side. Then on the side, just below that step, one on the other side, same spot. Okay, and that's the 5 of them. Okay, so the first eye bolt, which I've cut to about 2.5 millimeters long. There's a touch of glue on it. Put the top 2 in first. On that one, I'm just putting the eye bolt up, straight up and down, to make it easier to get the thread through later. Okay, so that's all the eye bolts in. You put focuses. Okay, so we've got the one at the front, one on each side below that first step, and then the 2 on top at the very end there. So all that leaves us to do is add the cannon, the hinges, and we've just got to paint the barrel red as I've done on that one. Okay, first thing we have to do is put our little pin through the hole in the cannon. The actual hole on the cannon goes towards the bottom, at least that's what the photo looks like, and so far they all sit properly by doing that. Just in the last groove, tiny bit of glue. Turn it around. Any bits of brass that are still showing through I'll touch up just with a cotton wool bud with a bit of black on there. So I'll just give that a few minutes to set properly, and then we'll put the, actually no, I can get the hinges ready. Just need a piece of the brass rod, the 1.5mm, and then I have to find what I've done with the hinges. And I just get the hinge. Hold the middle where it needs to go. It's difficult at the beginning because it just doesn't want to sit there. And then we've got our curves that we want. Yeah, where if I put the other one? Oh, there it is. Bit of the black is coming off these as well. As I said before, I'll touch this up once it's all together. I'll just put a bit of glue in here. Okay, so again, no, it's difficult to see. I'll leave them to dry, then we'll drill the holes and put the nails in. Okay, so now to drill the holes. This is only a 0.6mm drill bit, which is why I'm going slow, because I don't want to break it. And my drill just died. I'll go put that on charge, but we can get the first nail in. Just cut it a little bit less than half its length. Tiny bit of glue. End of it. Okay, I'm going to put my drill on charge and then I'll be back. Okay, that's charged. So get the nail. Touch of glue. Oh, where'd the nail go? Lucky I have spares. Okay, so that's the 4 nails in. So all that's left is we have to put some red paint around the gun opening, nozzle. So just a moment. So I've just got a little plastic sheet. Just put a bit of red ochre down. Just the nozzle. And then that's nice and neat. Okay, that's the first 5 cannons done. As I said, each one has 20 pieces, so there's 100 pieces just to do those 5, and I've got to do another 25, so nearly another 500 pieces all up. So as you can imagine, it's going to take me a while, so there probably won't be another video for probably a couple of weeks, because yeah, like I said, 25 is going to take me quite a while. And then when we do come back, before I rig these up on the deck, I'll be doing the rudder while I can still turn the ship upside down, and then we will rig the cannons up. So thanks for joining me, and hope to see you next time. Cheers.